My name is Liam, and tonight I'll be guiding you through a story of quiet strength and unwavering hope. A tale to soothe your spirit and settle your mind as sleep gently finds you. Let's take a moment to slow everything down. This is your time now. Just you and the soft rhythm of your breath. Inhale deeply and exhale slowly. Feel the muscles in your face begin to relax. Let your shoulders drop just a little more. And with every breath, allow your chest to soften. Tonight's story is real. It's about courage, about love, and about a tiny life that held on through the storm. Let it soothe your heart, wrap you in warmth, and carry you gently toward rest. Now close your eyes and drift into the story of Little Miracle. On July 5th, 2025, the San Gabriel River swelled violently after days of relentless rainfall. The water rose with such force, it swallowed parts of Georgetown whole. What had been familiar roads and neighborhoods just a day before were now murky, fast-moving rivers. Wooden fences were splintered and swept away. Cars and trailers lay overturned, twisted like toys. The air reeked of damp earth, motor oil, sewage, and soaked insulation. A bitter, musty scent hung thick across the wreckage. Everywhere you looked, there was ruin. Downed power lines, floating mattresses, children's shoes waterlogged and abandoned in the mud. The kind of devastation that hangs heavy in the chest, where you breathe in and all you get is loss. The mood among the people was just as soaked. Residents clutched soaked photographs, wondering in disbelief. Volunteers moved through the mess in silence, heads down, faces pale. The laughter and fireworks of the 4th of July just hours earlier felt like something from another world. Into that stillness stepped Millie McKell, an emergency responder, and her daughter, Sanna Wheeler. They hadn't come expecting to save lives, just to help clean up what they could. But as they moved through the shattered RV park, their boots sloshing through knee-deep mud, they heard something that stopped them cold. A sound, faint, fragile, a single desperate meow. Coming from somewhere up ahead, they paused, strained to hear it again. And there it was, the cry of something alive, something small, something trying not to be forgotten. They followed the sound through tangled brush and waterlogged debris, past collapsed fences and shattered wood, and then they saw her, a tiny grey and orange kitten, soaked to the bone, clinging with her last bit of strength to a tree branch. Her eyes blinked slowly, her body trembling, too tired to move. Before they could reach her, the kitten panicked and crawled into a mound of tangled hay and debris, disappearing from view. Millie crouched nearby, the soles of her boots sinking into the soaked ground as she steadied the soft earth around the kitten's burrow. The air was thick with the stench of floodwater, stagnant and sharp, like old garbage and wet metal. It clung to everything, the mud, the hay, the people. Nearby, the wind hissed through bent aluminum siding and snapped tarps hanging from what remained of shattered RVs. You could hear water dripping from torn roofs and twisted wires. Each drop felt like a ticking clock. Sanna, lying flat in the dirt, reached into the hole again, mud sticking to her arms, her knees bruised, her voice hoarse from hours of coaxing. She could just barely see the kitten now, its tiny body pressed deeper into the tunnel, trembling. She whispered softly, "It's okay, baby. We're not leaving you." But time dragged like a weight. Minutes passed, then more, then entire hours, swallowed by the dirt and silence. The kitten didn't cry anymore. She just blinked slowly, one eye swollen shut, the other dull and glassy. Volunteers rotated in and out, bringing fresh hands, tools, flashlights, and quiet encouragement. No one wanted to leave, even as their clothes grew heavy with water and their backs ached from crouching. It didn't matter. They had already decided this life was worth it. Millie kept scanning the sky. The daylight had dulled into deep grey. Then the grey became black. The sun was gone, and with it, any last sliver of warmth. Now only the beam of flashlights pierced the gloom, bouncing off metal scraps and slick mud. Cell phones lit the ground like candles. Still, Sana didn't stop. Her arms were scraped and raw. Her hands shook as she reached again, brushing aside more debris. The hole was tighter now, more fragile than before. Every move risked a collapse. Still, she kept reaching. The kitten was just beyond her fingers, too weak to move on her own. Her tiny chest rising and falling so faintly, it looked like nothing at all. Millie called for another pole, something thin enough to slide under the kitten without hurting her. A volunteer handed over a long bamboo stick, and Sana used it to gently nudge the kitten closer, millimeter by millimeter. And then, just before 9 o'clock, it happened. Sana's hand reached in one more time, and this time she felt warm fur. Not cold, not lifeless, but warm, alive. With the slowest, steadiest motion, she wrapped her fingers under the kitten's front legs and slid her body forward through the mud. The kitten didn't resist. She didn't flinch. She simply let go. Sana pulled her out, covered in filth, half her face swollen, her tail limp. But she was breathing. No one cheered. No one spoke. It was too quiet for that. Instead, there was only the sound of relief. Millie exhaled, one long breath she hadn't realized she was holding. They wrapped the kitten in a clean towel, tucking her in like a baby bird. Her fur was soaked and cold against the fabric. She didn't make a sound. Millie placed her gently in a small crate padded with towels, and they drove straight home to Colleen. No music, no talking. Just the steady sound of tires against wet pavement and the kitten's soft breathing in the back seat. When they arrived, they laid her on a towel in the center of the floor. She collapsed instantly, soaked, weak, stunned, but she was safe. Millie filled a basin with warm water and carefully cleaned the mud from her fur. The kitten hissed once, reflexively. She was scared, but she didn't fight. And when the towel wrapped around her, her body relaxed. Millie held her close, whispering gently, and they stayed like that through the night. By morning, she purred. A low, trembling sound, but unmistakable. It was the sound of life. They took her to a veterinarian who treated the wounds on her eye and confirmed what Millie and Sana already suspected. This little kitten was a miracle, so they named her that, Little Miracle. She weighed just over 1 pound, but she had survived a flood, a storm, and 5.5 hours trapped in the earth. Millie started a small fundraiser to help cover the vet bills. Word spread quickly. People across the state and even outside it were touched by her story. Donations poured in, and with them, messages of support and love. Each day, Little Miracle grew stronger. She began to eat soft food. She curled up on blankets. She blinked more. She moved more. And when someone picked her up, she purred again. The hissing stopped. The fear faded. Now she's being fostered by Millie and Sana. They give her love and safety and warmth, while she waits for the perfect forever home. As for Millie and Sana, they're still in Georgetown, still helping, still cleaning up. Because even in the deepest floodwaters, even when all seems broken, a little light can still shine through. And sometimes, that light comes wrapped in fur, in the shape of a kitten. Now, As you lie here, warm and still, let the story settle like stardust in your mind. Let your body relax, just like little Miracle did in her soft blanket. Let your fingers soften. Let your arms grow heavy. Let your back melt into your bed. Inhale deeply and exhale fully. You are safe. You are loved. And just like little Miracle, you are exactly where you belong. Good night and sweet dreams.